And welcome back. WHEDco is a community development organization that's founded on the principle all people deserve healthy, vibrant communities. WHEDco's home-based childcare program supports more than 10,000 childcare providers citywide, including a professional network of more than 300 licensed providers right here in the borough of the Bronx. Now, the program supports home-based childcare providers with professional development, regulatory, and small business assistance. And here now to tell us a little bit more about the program, we're pleased to be joined by Diana Perez, and she's the director of the home-based childcare services at WHEDco. And so, Diana, good to have you on the show. And for somebody who just wants to know basically what is home-based childcare services, how would you define it?
So home-based childcare services that we support at WHEDco are individuals who are operating childcare facilities in their home environment. And the license programs allows providers to work with 8 children, usually infants through 12 years old, and group license programs have as many as 16 children in care, also the same age range.
And when we talk about childcare during this particular time, the pandemic, very critical. But from your perspective, why do you find childcare to be so critical at a time like this?
At a time like this, childcare is an essential service, and we have many families who really need high quality childcare services so that they are able to provide other essential services. Our providers, they serve healthcare workers, transit workers, people who work in the food industry and service industry. And so these individuals still need to go to work. They need access to reliable and healthy and safe environments for their children, and they need that sense of security. So during a pandemic, childcare becomes critically important to support communities.
Yeah, and not only childcare, early education is also essential as well. And in a time like this, early education is critical, and it's, as I said, very essential. Talk to me about, the support, because when you talk about support for early education, providing structured learning in home-based programs is something that's needed, and I know that's something that you guys do.
Yes. What we do is we really provide our caregivers with professional development, and we moved a lot of our professional development to remote services so that we can continue to support our caregivers as they work with young children. It's important that children have access to early learning activities and that they have a structured program that really helps support their language development, their social and emotional development, and just really give them all of what is needed so that the child can prosper and grow and develop well. And so our goal is to ensure that our providers still have access to that professional development that helps them create wonderful activities and learning opportunities for young children in all of those areas. And that we also are able to continue to provide that one-on-one coaching and support for our caregivers as they work with young children to ensure that our children are receiving the best early learning programming that they can receive and are getting ready to enter the school system when things go back to normal.
Yeah. Well, parents are given an option. I mean, obviously right now with doors closing, the option is, of course, virtual learning. But are they going and extending themselves and coming out towards you, given the fact that doors are closed at schools? What are we seeing by way of parents and them sending them to your programs?
We have a number of families who have continued to work, and even though the schools have closed their doors, they have sent their children who are remote learners, school-age children, to our childcare providers as well. And our providers have really stepped up in this area, creating space and an environment that supports our children that are in school-age programs. And it does mean that in some cases, they have increased access to technology in their space. They have hired an additional staff person to work with a remote learner, supporting that child as they are doing their daily schoolwork.
Yeah. And I know during this time of year, one of the biggest challenges that all programs, educational programs in particular, are dealing with is this issue of food and food insecurity. We're finding that a lot of children are really going through it in a time like this where you thought that the meals were be at home, but they're not. We know more than likely most kids are able to get the healthy meals and meals with regularity at school. With the doors closed, talk to us about kids and how you're taking care of feeding and meeting their needs with regards to hunger as well, because I know that that's paramount as well.
Right. We kept our sponsorship with the Child and Adult Care Food Program operational throughout the entirety of this pandemic. So our providers were still able to prepare healthy meals and snack and provide those services to the families that were enrolled in their programs. So we had some providers actually even prepared some pickup meals for families who were not going to daycare every day, so that can ensure that the children were eating healthy meals every day. And we were able to continue to process those claims for reimbursement so that our providers would have the revenues to be able to purchase these healthy meal items that they would prepare in their homes for the children in their care. Throughout the pandemic, we have had hundreds of providers participate in our program and serving meals to thousands of children. We're very proud to be able to have done that.
Yeah, I've been asking the question all throughout the show, and throughout the past several months about how you've actually been impacted by COVID. I mean, COVID has had an impact on a lot of people. All people. Let me stop. All people have been impacted by COVID, but particularly when we talk about organizations, how's your organization and how's your program been directly impacted by COVID?
We had to be very creative and adapt quickly to this pandemic, and really, be able to move a lot of our work remotely and still be able to maintain that level of service. I want to credit our technology department for ensuring that we were able to get equipment into the hands of our staff so that they can continue to work from home and provide their services. We moved a lot of our professional learning online so that we're doing remote connection, but we are calling our providers on a daily basis. We're doing health wellness checks with our caregivers and with the families that they're servicing. We've been able to bring in other resources. We've been fortunate enough to have others provide some additional support in bringing opportunities like grants and food cards so that we can distribute that in our community. We've been really looking at what the needs are and trying to adapt all of our programs to make sure that we're meeting those needs.
And as we get ready to go to 2021, obviously the organization is looking towards the future. What do you see happening in the future by way of services and programming, and how you're moving things forward?
Well, I see us still doing remote services on many levels. I think that this really created some opportunities for us to learn that we can really reach out and provide access to many resources using technology. So we're going to continue to use technology as we move forward. But of course, we welcome people to come back into our doors when this pandemic is over with, so that we can reconnect, because there's nothing like that personal connection.
Yeah.
We're going to look at, how we can continue to grow and deepen our programs, and, really think about what other opportunities are needed to sustain our child care provider network and, our organization as a whole.
Well, Diana, a lot to thank you for. I mean, the programs and still being able to be sustainable in a time when need for care is critical, families, children. Thanks for the work that you're doing over there at WHEDco.
Thank you so much. We
All
appreciate
righty.
this opportunity to share it.
We appreciate having you on, and we want to make sure that viewers are connected. Now, if you want more information about Diana and her program, please go visit their website at WHEDco.org. Once again, the website is WHEDco, WHEDco.org. Of course, we're taking a quick break here on Open. We still got a little bit more show for you, so stay with us. We're returning right after this.